Let me ask you this. How has deployments affected how you see the world, though?
Oh man, you mean checking every doorway, looking at everybody, figuring out which one you could take out first? That's the highest level of danger.
Yeah, that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
works great.
What up, battle buddies? Welcome to the Combat Carl Show. Real vets, real talk, slightly inappropriate. I'm your host, Combat Carl, Army vet, and your favorite supply guy. On the show, we're gonna cover it all, from your first pair of boots to your final salute. No filters, no fluff, just vet stuff.
Combat Carl Show, let's go! Combat Carl Show, let's go!
What up, battle buddies? Thank you for tuning in to the Combat Carl Show. I'm your host, Combat Carl, and I have another episode for you today. My good friend, Sergeant First Class Michael Johnson. How you doing today, brother?
Hey, what's going on today, Carl? What's going on, Red
Hey,
Line
no, Bush,
Nation?
man. How you been, brother?
Listen, man, it is what it is. Just hanging out.
It's been a long time, man. Man, it's been a long time. We first met on deployment back in 2012 in Afghanistan. We was in 137 together, and man, it was a pleasure. It was an honor serving with you, brother. And I just want to tell the world about you and give you flowers, my man.
Hey, I appreciate that. It's definitely a fun and trying time there in Red Line Land. So,
Yeah.
had a great bunch of NCOs, soldiers, and yeah, I definitely wanted to do this shout out and say what's going on to everybody.
Hell yeah. I'm so glad you came to the show today, man. Thank you for your time. So we'll get right into it, man. Let's tell the people where you originally from.
So originally I'm from Arcadia, Florida,
Okay.
down south. Uh, and then around 17, I went to basic, started off in the guard, did the split up, and as soon as I was done with high school, went to AIT as the 13 Echo, fire direction control for
Okay.
cannon munition fires. And then from there, went active duty at 93 and started my journey. And then 22 years later, retired.
Man. That's a run, man. We're gonna get right into it, man. We're gonna get into it. That's a run.
Right
So,
on.
man, did you always want to be in the military when you was growing up as a kid, or like what would you want to be when you growing up?
Yeah, the Army was all I knew. I'm third generation artillery. My granddad, my dad was in artillery. I was in artillery.
Yeah.
I have a couple of cousins that was in Marine artillery during Vietnam. So it was just, you know, I
Family
pretty much
business.
knew exactly what I was going to do and just not how I was going to do it. But, wanted to serve, wanted to do something for my country. And,
Mm-hmm.
I guess I felt like I had some shoes to fill.
Yeah. 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 How long did your dad wind up serving for? And did he ever deploy?
He retired after 20.
Okay.
He's a full-time ATR guy with the Guard,
Mm-hmm.
fixing equipment and all that good stuff. My granddad, he's in World War II, and I think I was the first one to actually serve active duty for a lifetime.
Hell. Yeah. Man. And how long did you wind up serving for? Like how many years you wound up serving for?
22 total.
Let me give you a round of applause, boss man. I couldn't do it, man. I'm telling you, it was a lot of stuff I couldn't do no more, man. I applaud you for that, champ. So why did you join the military?
Hmm. I wanted to serve and family tradition, but it
Mm-hmm.
just seemed like, even as a young guy, it just seemed like the life for me. I just wanted to get the hell out of Florida and
Mm-hmm.
do something with my life. Didn't know what it was going to be. So why not, serve my country, carry on the family legacy and, dick around in different countries for a little while. And I ended up, I'm not going to say I loved every day of it, but I definitely didn't hate 98% of it. So, it is what it is. It's the lifestyle.
Yeah. Yeah. That's real. That's real.
Hit that subscribe button if you can roll with your battle buddies on the Combat Carl Show. No filters, no fluff, just vet stuff. And if you don't, I'm gonna tell everybody you the real Blue Falcon.
So, quick question: why did you join the Army and not any other branch? Like, why did you pick Army?
You know, for me, it was more of a necessity. I was just got done being, or was almost done with my junior year in high school, and I just wanted to go do something. And I walked into National Guard unit, which just so happens was an artillery unit, and I told him I was interested. My dad was deployed to the Persian Gulf, and May 1st, I signed the papers May 1st of 91 to join the National Guard. And as soon as I got done with the school that year, I went to basic. And, you know, it's just a way of doing something for the summer that I wanted to do and get
That's it. That.
my career path on the line.
All right. So, can you tell them what a 13 Echo is again?
We're the brains, baby. You know, everyone thinks that artillery is just putting a big old rock inside a tube and throwing it down range, but it's a lot more than that. You know, there's mathematics involved, there's computers involved. You know, there's a lot of technical things that go along with artillery, and artillery is a skill. It's not a what they teach you at school as far as the 13 Echo portion of it. It's only a scratch of what it actually is, and it's up to you to learn all the way
Hell
down.
yeah.
So
Hell yeah.
there you go. That's what appealed to me. It's the technical aspect of it. I got to do some fun shit while I was
I
in the
love
Army
that. Man,
because
I
of
love that. So let's go to basic training. You joined in 97,
no, I
91.
went to basic in 91. It was I went May 1st of 91. I went
Okay.
to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. Hot as shit. I'm from Florida, and they got this thing called a wet bulb there, and I'm like, "What's a wet bulb?" And they're like, "Oh, that's where you
Yeah.
stop sweating and you overheat." And I grew up with that, so I just thought it was kind of sissified
Right.
that we had to unblouse everything and stay cool. So, I mean, other than that,
Okay.
basic was a blast for me. I mean, it was structured. It
Yeah.
was what the Army was supposed to be, you know. So I was all on board.
So, okay, 91, man. 91, 17, 91. All right. Okay. Okay. I got some questions.
You wasn't even born
Now,
yet,
I'm born in
was you?
86, champ. I got some season on me.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. All right. Got it down. I start speaking old head,
Yeah.
you know, time starts
Yeah. I'm
flying,
on
you
there,
know.
man. My dad was in also. I respect all y'all BDU soldiers. I call y'all BDU soldiers. You know what I'm saying? So y'all the green soldiers and whatnot. So y'all went through a lot of different things we didn't go to until like we started deploying and war got real. And yeah, so it was different, man. I'm glad we joined at that time. How's that?
I felt like the Ken military doll when we got ready to deploy because we got all these new
Yeah.
accessories and new uniforms, and it's just like, yeah, let's just
Yeah.
go. Why you got to dress me up for the part? Let's just go. And then stick you in a green vehicle. Go
Yeah.
figure.
They can see us. What is the worst day in boot camp? What was your worst day in boot camp?
Oh man, I would say the very first day shakedown because that rocked me to the core. I'm this 17-year-old boy. I mean, let's face it, at 17, you still shoot the puppy water and you don't know what you're doing in life. And the first decision I made for my life was to stand here and get talked to like I'm a ragged piece
Yeah.
of shit. Yeah. And then, funniest thing, we get done with the shakedown, and I'm not saying I was on the brink of tears, but I was on the brink of
Right.
tears.
Right.
You know, it was just like, what have I done? You know, I'm stuck here because at no time was it like I want to go home. It's like, no, fuck this. I'm stuck here. I got to figure out how to
Yeah.
get through. So I go to the chow hall, and this girl that I went to high school with, she's there and she's serving food, and I'm just like, Hey, Chantel, how's it going? Yeah, that was probably my worst day because I got
Ooh.
smoked like crazy.
Mm.
And I moved
Mm.
south.
They used to do that back then. Yeah.
So,
That's why. That's why.
yeah, that's probably my worst day in
Okay.
basic.
Okay. All right. Let's see. My next question would be, let's do a curveball. What was your top 3 songs on your playlist when you were on your deployments? How about that?
Oh, man, when I was on deployment.
Mm-hmm. On your way there or your way
Which
back, like
deployment?
let's pick one, any one of them. You could pick any one. You can give me a song from each deployment. Like what was like, okay, I had a theme song on my way back, or one of them I had like, you know what I'm saying, listen to on my way there. So
Okay, so when I was coming home from Bosnia, it was Ozzy Osbourne's "Mama, I'm Coming
okay,
Home"
that's a good one. I heard that
because
before.
young kid, never been outside of Florida, and here I am coming home from this third world country that we're
Right.
saving, and it just seemed fitting because I was actually going back to Florida for leave before I went to
Okay.
Hawaii. Uh, man, Iraq. The Best by the Foo
Okay.
Fighters, and then going to Afghanistan, Rage Against the Machine. Fuck you, I won't do it. Keep telling.
Good shit. Good shit. All right. All right. Whew, that was funny. All right. Let's go to where all were you stationed at in your deployments? Excuse me. Doing
Oh,
all your service.
all right. So I started off in T3FA, Ayers Concern,
Okay.
Germany, and that was in
Okay.
Kirschgården, First Armored
Okay.
Division, Alpha Battery 2-3. You know, oh, I love that unit. They always say the best unit in the Army is the unit
Yeah.
you're in and the unit you're going to, or no, the unit you just left and the unit you're going to. So, and then from there I went to 37F, or we did a deployment to Bosnia,
Okay.
Germany. I was there for 9 months, part of I-4, and then I went to Hawaii and was in 37FA,
Okay. Okay.
I-Quad, go 37 on the
Okay.
limit. No, that was actually 211. And then from there, went to Fort Hood,
Okay.
Texas for about a year. I was in DeVardy, first Cav DeVardy, and then I went to 282FA, Steel Dragons. And then from there, went to Korea, and I worked at 2ID
Okay.
DeVardy and I learned a lot about the AFATADs during that time. And then from Korea, went to Fort
Mhm.
Sill, 25FA, and then we got assigned to 3rd HCR, went to Iraq, came back, and then I worked in 212, or not 212, I worked in
Okay.
schoolhouse
Is
for the TRADOC system managers, field artillery, tactical data systems. So I got to work with all the computers that the artillery used, integrating them into fires, tasks, all kinds of high level shit. And then from there, I went out recruiting
okay.
to Cleburne, Texas,
Cleveland, Texas.
and Cleburne,
Okay.
Texas.
Cleveland.
Cleburne.
Okay.
It's
All right.
Cleburne. It's in Johnson County,
Okay.
Texas, next to Burleson, Fort
Okay.
Worth, centrally located there. And then went to the WTU there at Fort Hood for about 10 months after that. And then I got orders to go to Red Lion Land there in Washington, and I finished out my last 2.5 just surviving and trying to thrive, but that was not the environment to thrive in. So I just decided to retire.
I hear that. So that leads me to my next question. Have you ever served under toxic leadership?
Yeah, yeah, a couple times. Recruiting
Okay.
command, that's probably as toxic as you can get. Well, yeah, I
All right.
thought. And then, of course, my last
The
hoorah,
last hoorah.
it wasn't I knew day one, I did not want to be there. My talent was not going to be
Mm-hmm.
used. And, you're gonna think I'm this fat dummy, I'm gonna play the fat
Mhm.
dummy. So, oh
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. Or some of the best leaders you never saw under. Excuse me.
Oh man, you know I can't. I wish I could narrow it down to one, but to me, I've had so many different leaders that have provided so many different things, and at times, even my worst leader gave me the best information.
Mm.
So, uh, I would say the most informative one. I used to have a mentor. Ended up being a sergeant major, a guy named Giles, Sergeant Major Giles. Uh, he and Sergeant First Class each of you taught me a lot about the aid faith ads portion of my
Mhm.
job. And due to the fact we're going into a digital age, or we were at that time, who knows what we're doing now. I had the expertise and I caught on and grabbed it and ran with it. And just for overall an NCO that in my later years I always tried to emulate, and that would be First Sergeant Yulee. And you know, I knew First Sergeant Yulee for a while, and he was just always one of those. I knew him before when he was a smoke, and we were working together in the
Okay.
shop, and he would come up and be like, "Hey, Jay, you really can't be doing this." And I'm just like, fuck that guy. What the fuck is he gonna do to me? He ain't gonna kick me out of the fucking army. What, he gonna fire
Yeah.
me? Okay. So, but I just, for him, he was kind of like that yin to my yang when it came to, because I've always been a pistol. I mean, I got a big mouth, but my knowledge could back up everything I said. And if I stepped on it every now and then, takes a hit. But and Dave ran a different way. He smart, intelligent, but he was just very low key about things. I was the boat rocker, and he was the boat steadier, and I think it was very befitting that he became my first sergeant at the end of my career, because in a way he took care of me. He shielded me. It's like, hey, just stay hidden for a little while. It's like, why?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is Sergeant Major gonna be there? 'Cause I got shit. Just stay away. Okay. So there's that
Yeah.
respect thing,
Yeah. I love
you
First
know.
Sergeant Yulee, man. He was so pivotal in my career towards the end of my career. And I mean, I wouldn't have stayed in the military if it wasn't for him. So I mean, hey, I like him his
You know, we
flowers.
had a good bunch. I mean, I've been fortunate because, you know, at no time did I think that I was going to be retiring after going to
Mm-hmm.
Afghanistan. You know, when Iraq recruiting, you know, and then to fall into such a bad situation, but have such a great supporting cast of great NCOs. You know, you had First Sergeant Yulee, you had Sergeant Concepcion, you had Sergeant Rivera, you had, you know, Smoke Shetley,
Yeah.
you had, you know, even at times Damon Smith. You had all those guys that, for one reason or another, you know, you had the dream team, and then you had the, hey, take these dirtbag NCOs that were deemed dirtbags by the,
Mm-hmm.
you know, crust of corruption that you had
Mm-hmm.
going on. And we all got along, and we pulled out a fantastic product, and that was because Dave Yulee pulled everything together. That's the smartest thing Sergeant Major ever did, was allow him to be a first sergeant.
I totally agree. I totally agree. When he gave me Alpha Battery, it really changed so much before we left. Like I told him in this episode, it just made the sun started shining, man. When he showed up, the sun started shining because it was shit going on before he got there.
Well, yeah, I mean, there was, you know, from the political standpoint, there was a lot of things going on that, you know, I mean, you
Yeah.
know, because, you know, I know the skinny, you know, I worked in the top before I got fired from there for pissing off the wrong people.
You know?
So,
I
you know,
love how subliminal you are,
went
though.
and
I
got,
love how we know, if you know, you know. I love how, like, I love it. I'm telling you. We're talking about the same guy, though.
You know, it
It
is
is
what it
what it
is. I
is.
mean, I look at it this way. Am I going to be mad about it? I could be, because I had, you know, coming out of the nut
Mm-hmm.
house and going back to my roots in the
Mm-hmm.
army, and I feel like I got robbed just because this guy being the same MOS, thinking just because I'd been taking lithium for a little while and was a little overweight. Yeah, I was fat. I didn't give myself a good representation, but I knew my shit.
Mm-hmm.
And he never allowed me to. Every time I showed him, I even would call him out on
Mm-hmm.
shit that he would misquote in the 640, which is the book I use
Okay.
religiously. And no, you are incorrect because I'm a sergeant major. Okay, fucking bitch bag. I'm a piece of shit. So I'm going to be a piece of shit.
Well, all right. Let's talk about your first deployment. Okay, your first deployment. You said Bosnia, right? How long were y'all deployed there?
my, my first deployment was Bosnia. We left out January 1st of 96, and I got back to Germany September 25th of 96 because I re-enlisted while in Bosnia to go to Hawaii.
Okay.
And then 2002, we went to Iraq.
Mm-hmm.
And
From
then,
Germany, the same unit, like that. Oh,
no, I was in Fort
okay.
Sill at that time, and we got assigned to 3rd ACR. So when I got to Fort Sill from Korea, I was a newly promoted staff sergeant, and I ended up becoming the fire control NCO for 2-5
Okay.
battalion. And because we were getting fielded AFATADs and all that stuff, and we knew we were going to Iraq. So we had to get the AFATADs fielded, all the new equipment fielded, and since I'd already had all the experience in the AFATADs that was needed in that version, I was able to, I worked in to where that worked out. And then once the E7 came on board, I went down to a battery.
Mm-hmm.
So I did battery time, platoon time, shooting, rocking, cocking, checkpoints, kicking in doors, you name it, we
Mm-hmm.
did it. And came
Yeah.
back, most
Yeah.
of us. So, Iraq always had its fun part, just like its bad parts. And then went to the schoolhouse from there, did some real fun
Okay.
things. Got to work with the Excalibur program, the 777 program before the Army bought off
Okay.
on it and put the 777 in motion. I did the first 7 that the Marine Corps shot
What?
and bought. I did the shakedown for those in Yuma,
Okay.
Arizona. I can talk
Yeah, let's
about
talk
it now.
about it.
Before the first 7 that came off the assembly line. So I knew what the 777 was capable of because we tested every
Mm-hmm.
format of the DFCS, and I knew what it do. So here we are. I'm getting to Red Lion land, not meaning to
Mm-hmm.
digress, but this is a bitch. And this guy tells me I don't know what I'm talking about because I'm a 13 Delta Echo because it went
Mm-hmm.
through its changes. Who am I to know what a 13 Bravo piece of equipment does? The whole time he's looking at my NCOER saying where I'm from before this, and I know what the fuck I'm talking
Right.
about. So, okay.
Yeah.
But anyways, I
Yeah.
digress. So then I go to I go out
Uh-huh.
recruiting, and then after a short stint in the WTU, came to Fort Lewis and deployed with Red Lions in what was it, 11 to 12
I
or
think it was
something like
12.
that.
It was
12.
12. Yeah, we did 12. We went 12. Yeah.
So
Yeah, 12. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that happened. All right. So let me ask you a question then. On your deployments, what was one of the best care packages you ever received? Got to think.
I would say the best care package I ever received was when I was in Iraq, and the kids, they sent me a bunch of them little, their
Okay.
colorings and stuff like that. And then they sent a bunch of coloring books, and I ain't gonna lie, man, I colored in the coloring book. That was great therapy for Iraq. I'd color away, man. You know, I'd share with the Marines that we were stationed with. I'd give them the red crayon for them to ink, and I would, use the rest and color. So,
They knew that's funny. Oh God. All right. All right. What is your most memorable mission on one of your deployments?
I ain't talking
All
about
right.
that one.
All right. Do you ever miss being deployed?
Yeah. Yeah. I missed it the day I got off the plane from Iraq.
Mm.
Hmm.
I miss it too. Though. I do I just have the simplicity of it and doing I just think I don't know. It's like the highlight. I don't know. I don't know I don't know how to explain it to people the high of it, the lows of it, but it's really like the best time in my military career is when I deployed.
Well, for me, it was just deployments and fields, because going to the field to me and our
Yeah.
MOS, an artilleryman not shooting artillery is being
Yeah.
wasted. And I was always the firm believer. If I could go out to the woods in the morning, shoot about 200-300 rounds, and come home at night, that would have been the best job in the world. So for us, deployments, especially deployments where you're rocking and you're
Mm-hmm.
shooting, you're doing what you train for in peacetime, and it's our job. It's what we do. So it's a calling, and then when you start taking on the non-standard missions and doing everything else, that to me that jazzed me up even more, because it was more stuff to learn, and I had soldiers to take care of. That was always my biggest thing. My soldiers, taking care of them, making sure that they had the proper leadership to make the right decisions and come out unscathed, and for the most part that
Yeah.
happened. So definitely cannot complain.
Let me ask you this: how has deployments affected how you see the world, though?
Oh man, you mean checking every doorway, looking at everybody, figuring out which one you could take out first? That's the highest level of danger.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, works great.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
You hear a backfire out in the road, and you come out guns a blazing. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. So, do you have
But I chose it. I chose it. It was my lifestyle that I chose to stay in and chose to do.
right? So, do you have any memories or thing do you have stuff still? Okay, I'm gonna ask the question. Do you have memories or a mission that still replays in your mind? Like, I used to have recurring nightmares for a long time, and then I had recurring nightmares for like a minute. You know what I'm saying? Until I shook that. But it was like the same mission. I couldn't say no. I couldn't fix it. And every fucking time I couldn't fix it. So do you have a mission or something like that that still replays in your mind?
Hmm. I do, and some of it I'm just but the one the lighter hearted one that it's one that I kept having. Man, I still
Mm-hmm.
have it, and so I'm in uniform, right? And I'm in my what was that uniform we
ACUs.
wore to
Okay.
Afghanistan?
Yeah, ACUs, NCUs, something.
Yeah, like
No,
yeah.
any fucking
Anyway,
way. This one. Yeah.
the
Yeah,
multi-camp,
multi-camp. That's it.
multi-camp. That's what we
That
call.
I got everything in here, y'all.
You know, I'm I'm walking around Fort Lewis, and I'm in uniform, and I know this is a nightmare that I have. It's one I've
Okay.
created, because I drowned out all the other nightmares at
Okay.
night by, medicine I take
Right.
at night. So that's another commercial. Uh, but For the longest time, I always had this nightmare, and I'm walking around Fort Lewis. I'm in multicam, and it's like fucking. The year is like 2024, and I hear this, Sergeant Johnson, when are you gonna put in your retirement paperwork? Because the initial one I had was I was retired, and I got called back because my retirement paperwork was messed up. And guess who my sergeant major was?
Yeah.
Reitmeyer. Yep, you got it. So in this nightmare, I'm just always like, what the fuck is going
Yeah.
on? And then I wake up. And then recently it's just been like, well, it ain't ready yet. Well, you're at 35 years in the Army. You need to retire. And it's like, fuck you. You're not driving me out of the Army. So that's just one of the more comical nightmares I have. But boy, let me tell you, I wake up. I wake up quick. I'm like, I'm back in that situation. Shit. So for what it's worth.
Oh man, that's good. That's good, man. All right. Here we go. If you could tell your younger self anything before your first deployment, what would you tell yourself?
Oh shit. Don't make that right turn.
What does that mean, bro?
I mean, it for me, honestly, I probably would have made different decisions probably on my, if I count Iraq as my first deployment, I would definitely make different decisions. I probably wouldn't allow certain things that were allowed to happen. And, people may be alive because of it. So it is what it is. It's something I live with every day.
I get that. Let's mix it up. Curveball. What's the best advice you never listened to?
Play the game. Play the game. My mentor, the old Sergeant Major, back when he was a first sergeant, and I was that young staff sergeant running a battalion fire control. And he goes, you got to learn to play the game. Everything cannot be you're battling for right. You have to pick your battles. And I'm like, well, I'm doing good so far. And he goes, yeah, because I've kept you on a pretty tight leash. And he goes, learn to play the game. And here I am, 22 years, retired, never played the game once. So did I limit myself on my career progression? Fuck them.
That's a thought.
I think I did what was right. I took care of my soldiers. I voiced opinions that maybe others felt. And I just had the balls to say it. I don't know. Call it what it is. But
I think
I've never shied down from anybody. Never will, never have.
I mean, I was told that play the game as an E4, you gotta shut the fuck up in color and just play the game, pal. That's all I kept hearing.
E4 is a different story, though. E4 and below is a different story. That's surviving, brother. That's surviving. When you become an NCO, not only are you surviving, the quality that your soldiers produce and act out and inside of work is a direct reflection of you, and your quality of life gets fixed with. So you got to do what you can afford.
Yeah.
You got those soldiers that you can go to bat for, and they get the hint, and they get on board. And you got those soldiers that constantly beat their head against your chest, crying, asking you to help them out when they stepped on it the same time, every time. So
you got a boy.
It's just it is what it is. I mean, as NCOs, no NCO, there is no correct form of leadership. There is no right NCO. There is no, well, they're all wrong NCOs, but it is just that whatever.
No.
Hold on. Whatever the cat got a hold
All
of.
right.
It's whatever that NCO feels he needs to do to get the job done. And, we all make mistakes. I made mistakes.
I made mistakes.
I'm sure you made mistakes when you were Sergeant
That's
Carl's
very
house.
true. Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
happens. It's when you can continually make the same mistake, like not support NCOs when you are the head NCO, not supporting them, and you could have a killer battalion. Because don't get it fooled. I knew a lot of people knew of them when I first got
Right.
there, and there was a lot of knowledge in that battalion that was wasted.
Yeah.
A lot.
I agree. A lot of great ACLs. So shout out to all the ACLs in 137. I want to shout y'all out. For real, y'all were awesome.
Red line.
Red line who? All right. All right. Let's get back to it. I mean, you know what? Let's keep it. What is your top 3 movies, wartime, or your top 5 movies, wartime, or yeah.
Okay, so I'll give a shout out to
Mm-hmm.
Concepcion. I watched him, and he said, Tigerland. I did like it. I really love Tigerland from the
Yeah.
I'm not doing this bullshit,
Yeah.
standpoint. So I really like that movie, but not my
All right.
top.
Okay.
Not my
All
top.
right.
I would say
I'm gonna start putting the
for
tally
me,
up. Go
I go
ahead.
off. I'm a cinephile
Okay.
anyways. I love movies, so I got a couple of categories. So you're gonna have to bear with me because this is our
Yeah.
time.
Let's do it.
So for historical accuracy and just the way I love the way they did it, it's both Midway
Okay.
movies. The one in the 60s and the one in the current.
Okay.
Great movies. Apocalypse Now,
Okay.
probably my top favorite because it shows, just that part of Vietnam and how the CIA was tied in, blah, blah, blah. I try not to watch a lot of current about
Mm-hmm.
Iraq or anything like that. I have watched a few.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there's some work I think needs to be done. And of course, Band of
Of
Brothers,
course.
that whole series, the Pacific, there's a bunch, man. I appreciate every military film.
Okay.
I'll say
Okay.
that because they all have their unique quality. They all have their part of history, and they all have their own message.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's good. That's good. All right. I'm gonna ask you this: how has your service or your military service impacted your relationship with friends and family?
Ooh. Well, mm. Yeah. Oh man, I, I can say hopefully I can say I was a great
Right.
NCO. Hopefully I can say that I was a good leader, and that when it came down to getting things done, people will say that I knew my job. Because as a father and as a husband, I was pretty much shit. Right after Iraq, yeah, I don't know. I got caught up in the big machine, and you know, uh, was working. My first wife, she ended up when I was out recruiting. She got a brain tumor, or she had a brain tumor, and ended up passing away while I was recruiting.
That's a lot. That's
So
a lot.
that I will say deployments and all that. I was Sergeant Johnson, and I had to run a household, and it wasn't the way, looking back, I should have ran a household, and some of the decisions I made during that time based on service deployment, stuff like that, probably wasn't the best, but I knew it could be accomplished. And I'd like to say that I have the best relationship with my kid. My son, I definitely do. His daughter's still working on that, but it's a direct reflection of how I was during that time that everything was going on, and you know, it's a reflection of my experiences, deployments, you know, the rigors and of recruiting and
Mm-hmm.
everything, and on that portion of it, it's difficult to think about because I wasn't the greatest
Mm-hmm.
father. Uh, I was a hell of a
Yeah.
sergeant. My guys, I took care of them. I didn't know how to take care of my kids. Didn't know how to take care of my home situation. So, you know, a lot of that I wish I could change, but I can't.
That's honest.
And then at least now, you know, with all that, I do get the help that I need and that I go through and
Mm-hmm.
use, you know, and it's because of that experience, which, you know, if you're out there and you're a vet, and I just want to throw this in there, if you're out there and you're a vet and you just, you know, you've deployed and you're just not feeling the way you used to feel, go talk to somebody about it. Don't let it build up to the point to where you start doing dangerous shit. Go go get it looked at. Talk to somebody.
Please do.
I did it.
Please do. I
I
did
did it.
too. I mean, there's
So
nothing wrong with going to see somebody, man. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. I want to make sure every vet know that. Ain't nothing wrong with it. You not tough. You know what I'm saying? I know that in our culture that they'll call you some name. They'll do some name calling if you take your ass to sick call. How about that? They call you sick call rangers, they call you some other shit. Whatever. But fuck them.
yeah, but you know there were some people out there that used it a
No,
lot.
now, motherfuckers abused it. That is very true. Motherfuckers did abuse the system, very much so. But if you're really going through it, go to it. How's that? That's what I'm gonna say. But don't fuck it up for everybody. Come on, champs. That's all I got to say about that. Then, how about that?
Yeah, yeah. Especially anger. I mean, anger is still. I mean, mine was never
Right.
suicidal. It was
Yeah.
anger. Just this fucking like to the point to where blood vessels are busting in my eye. I just want to choke someone out so goddamn bad, but you can't. So
Ah,
get help if you're feeling those. Get
that's
help.
for real, man. That's for real. That's honest. Huh. All right, let me ask you another question. So, what is your advice to family members to how they can support their soldiers while deployed or returning back from deployment? How about that?
You know, returning back. I mean, shit. You know, my first wife, Bethany, yeah, she had it rough because we were the first wave to come back, you know, so nobody really knew. We had that integration training, but nobody really knew. So, you know, all I can say is be patient and understand that maybe the guy you knew that left, maybe he ain't coming back. Maybe that form of him is never coming
It's a
back.
boy.
My first wife, when I got off the plane, she looked at me and she goes, "We'll work on it." And I'm like, "Well, what the fuck are you talking about? We'll work on it." She goes, "You are not the Mike that left. So we got some work to do." She saw it.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, for what it's worth, I mean, I'm sure some people go and come back the same, but the majority don't. And if you have a loved one that's deployed, please understand, get help, understand, you know, get away from the picnic tables that is the neighborhoods of, because we know how dependents are. They gossip. Get some real legitimate professional help on what to expect if you have someone coming home from a deployment, no matter what it
Mm-hmm.
is, because they change. They see things, they hear things, they experience things, and they change. It took me years to realize that. And I'm a better man now because I realize that. And I have worked towards learning the new man that I am and what that entails.
That's real, man. That's real. That's some great advice, man. That's some great advice. Um, Yeah, I knew something was wrong with me. I think I was in denial after my first deployment. I was like, nah, I wasn't going that long. You know what I'm saying? It was only 10. I only had to do 9 months of it because I was a brand new private, so it was already there. So I was like, it wasn't that bad. But it seemed some shit, things happen. I was just in denial. And I was like, nah, I don't believe in depression and shit. Like I was like, nah, I don't believe in depression, man. It's some bullshit. And then after my second one, when I came home, my kids wanted to play with me, jump on daddy and shit. And I was just like, get your fuck off me. And like, what the fuck? I needed air. I had like, you know what I'm saying? I was like, man, this shit ain't right. And like, I knew I was gonna be a different husband and parent to these kids now because like I'm not playful. I'm not embracive. It's not that I was robbed of joy, but I'm just like not there. But I'm there. I'm trying to like be involved and not overrun. But I still like gotta control shit. Like I don't know. It was like a struggle for so many different things pulling me different ways at the time.
And and it's hard to get focused on one task to just get on. Trust me, I know. And a lot of people think that depression it means you're suicidal. It means no, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't. It means you could do some shit in depression that you just don't think straight, and there's reasons.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on, is it chemical pits? I mean, the VA's doing these burn pit things now. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just you got to get help. I mean, even if you're tripping through life, having a hunky dory time, go to the VA petition. Just get on the books.
Mm-hmm.
You never know when it's going to raise up. Trust
Yeah.
me.
That's real. All right. Let me ask you this question. You've been 22 years in the service, good sir. You've been on several deployments. Do you feel like we won the war? We can go with terrorists and doing freedom or whatever. We pick one. But do you feel like we are winning or won wars since you've been in the service?
Nope. Nope. I don't. And I just think it. I mean, initially, if things would have been like initial Iraq and all that, and you know, we could have done the mission and done it right, and which you know, call it what it may, we were more of an occupying instead of weeding out terrorists,
Mm-hmm.
and I just think politics, a lot of politics got involved, as in since Korea on
Mm-hmm.
down, and no, I don't think we won. I think it was a waste of money and quality life. And when I say quality of life, I just mean any life, because no life is worth spending time in a country where you really don't have a clear picture of why you're
Right.
there, but you're
But you're
there
there.
and you're serving your country, and it, it just it just seemed pointless.
That's real. All right. All right. What are you most proud of from your military service?
Boy, that's boy, that's a tough one. 'Cause, I think if there's just one, the fact that I hopefully provided at least one person information or something that they gathered from me, whether it was, "Huh, I'm not doing that bullshit because I saw how it worked out," or, "Man, Sergeant Johnson, yeah, I need," if there's just something that I passed on to somebody that made them a better
Yeah.
person, that's what makes me proud. And the proudness that even with the relationship with, you know, my kids at the time, they both also decided to serve.
Mm-hmm.
And my son, he was a medic at Fort
Mm-hmm.
Lewis, was stationed on North Fort in triple
Okay. Okay.
as a medic. So he did, he served
Okay.
there. And my daughter, she's still in the Army Reserves as she fixes MRI and CAT machine, their CAT scans and shit like that, pulling down a lot more cheddar than I ever will. So, I'm proud of both
Shout
of
y'all
them.
out,
My
man.
kids
Shout the
are,
kids out. God damn it. I'm
you
shouting the
know,
kids out, man. I'm ESPN. But
hey, man, I get it. I
oh
get
man,
it.
what did you? Okay, so they had to be a proud moment for you, though. Like both of your kids want to go on, you know what I'm saying, like and keeping it going. Like you went, your grandfather went, your dad went. Like you know what I'm saying. There had to be a proud moment for you, right? What was that for you? Moment for you now?
I was very proud of both of my kids when they decided to join. I knew that their reasons was probably to get the hell away from home. So, hey, you know what? I'll just have to take that as a
Yeah.
win. No, I mean, honestly, I'm very proud. Every time my son and I will be on the phone talking, and we'll just be swapping war stories. Talking about Fort
Yeah.
Lewis and the calandrum that is, Castle Grayskull.
Yeah.
And that makes me proud because my son and I did not really start coming back together, clicking until he went to basic and he served time in the
Mhm.
military and he's a smart God. He's smarter than
Mhm.
me. And I think that light went on in his head. Is like, okay, now I see why Dad is the way he is. Because I mean, let's face it. You said you came home and from deployment, you just have no feelings. I think that's 99% of us that come back from a rigorous
Mhm.
deployment. You don't know what emotions are anymore. You either got them or you
Yeah.
don't. And you can either find them or you can't. So
Yes, honest.
it is what it is. But at no time did I ever stop loving my kids, man. Never, 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 never,
Mhm.
never. I did it for
That's
them.
right.
I like to tell myself that I did it for them. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I loved the job I was doing, and it really wasn't a hard job. The Army was really not that difficult.
I'm kidding. Yeah. I mean, once you get into a good groove, once
It's
you
just a
find your
voice
groove,
you gotta
it's
feel.
smooth. I would say that once you find a good groove, it's smooth, and you start realizing what pieces are like temporary and what's going, you know what I'm saying, can affect your groove. How's that? That's a good way to say that. I like that one.
Yeah, you got it. It's yeah.
All right, let me ask you this question: what is one thing I left on your bucket list?
Man, I got so many things on my bucket list. You know, I think part of my bucket list is I want to go back to every place I was ever
Okay.
stationed and just, see what it's like.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and that'll be later on in years, probably when I'm wearing the pins and shit, because I just ain't ready for that. But yeah, that's probably one of the things I want to do on my bucket list. Just go to each place and kind of reminisce and get my geek
Mm-hmm.
on and go look at the artillery pieces and tell a bunch of kids that really don't give a shit. I used to work on one of those. I'll tell you what, that thing can shoot 20 miles. I want to be that guy. Oh man, I got all riled up. It was it was probably a couple of years ago, man. I went over to Fort
Mm-hmm.
Lewis to see my kid when he was stationed
Mm-hmm.
at Lewis. And I'm walking into PX and I see these soldiers. They got their headgear off and shit. I'm sorry, you could take the man out of you could take the guy out of the NCO Corps, but you just can't take it. And I'm losing my shit, man. I'm just like, what the fuck? Hey, where do you work? And this guy's like, I was like, goddamn headgear on right fucking now. And he's just like, huh? And I was like, who's your NCO? And he's like, huh? I was like, get out of here. He just takes off, and I'm just like, whew, I gotta calm down, man. I can't be doing that.
Man,
So
you got old guys, man, from across the street yelling, "Put your head here on, man." That's wild. That's you caddy now.
Yeah, but I've gotten better, man, because the last few times we've been up to Fort
Okay.
Moore, also known as Fort
Right.
Benning, and we're up there at PX on a Saturday when they're doing their little private
yeah.
runs and all
Right.
that. And I'm just sitting there by the car smoking a cigarette. Drill sergeant gets out, and I just,
Mm-hmm.
give him one of those. And he, come on, privates, let's go, get armed up. And I'm just sitting there laughing and shit. And you got the little broke dicks rolling out at the
Okay,
very
oh yeah.
end. It's great.
That's good. If you had any superpower, which one would it be? I've got to
Oh,
shut this
man.
up.
You know, honestly, I should pick one that's self-serving, but I don't think I would want to be able to see into the future,
Mm.
and I could call up Dave, let him know when his Raiders are going to win the Super Bowl again, so he could bet some money
No
on
doubt
it.
so.
I could call Alafuni and give him some good tips, give Rivera some good
Yeah.
tips. I'd be multi-generational on
Yeah.
this shit, man. Everybody could just lottery numbers.
Yeah.
Come on. Who wants to
Who
be
wants
rich?
to get rid?
I'm happy in my life right now, I don't need nothing
Okay.
more. I mean, maybe have some of my bills
Yeah.
paid off, but shit, I'm content.
Right.
So I guess they'd say to be able to see in the future, man.
That's real. All right. My next question would be: since freedom isn't free, how much did it cost you?
Everything. I mean, there's no bones about it. Different person when I came back on
Mhm.
deployment. So you become institutionalized. It's like Dave said on his. It's hard to get out because it's all you know.
Yeah.
It's all you've done for me, my entire adult life. The only adult I knew how to be was Sergeant
Mhm.
Johnson.
I get that.
And when you get out and you're no longer a minority, a respected for the most part
Mhm.
minority, to being part of the majority, and you're just another person, that part's kind of cool.
Mhm.
But you don't know what you're going to do. And even if you do, it's just a matter of time before you have to really do some serious soul spelunking on, how you going to get through the rest of your life
Yeah.
without the Army.
That's honest.
So when they say it's a lifestyle and it's a way of life, it is, because I still have some Armyisms in me to this very day that I can't shake. I mean, I got to have a nice, clean closet. I got to, I got a GI my CPAP machine, I got to clean that bitch like an M16, or M4
Yeah.
now, everything's
Yeah.
changed. So, but I could GI the shit out of my sleeping mask. I'll tell you what. Army taught me those skills. I can mop, I can
Yeah.
clean, I can cut
Yeah.
grass, I can do it
That's
all.
the first job. And then that's the first thing they had me doing. Like when I got there already, I was like, why am I cutting grass and being a fucking crossing guard in the morning for kids? Like they had me doing every detail except my fucking job. So he taught me a lot of the bullshit to clean and help other people. I mean, I was doing a bunch of bullshit till it was wartime. And then I was like, now I'm doing my job.
That's that life of E4
Yeah.
and below.
Yeah. That's real life.
When I was in that E4 and below, I mean, we were exempt from a lot of details because we were training up to go to Bosnia.
Okay.
So, we were constantly doing our skill, doing our
Mhm.
craft, learning the particulars, learning the black
Mhm.
magic. Like I said, there's so much artillery that would just smoke the average person's mind that you just, yeah,
All right.
you either know it or you don't.
Can you shout out a couple of some of your best soldiers you served with, or served that were under you, or served for you?
Oh man, yeah, James
Mhm.
Wilson, Moeller, Mello, Morrison, Sergeant Morrison, Sergeant
Okay.
Giles. It's a long list, man. So work with me. Man, trying to get them in right order. My first chief, Sergeant Arrington, racist prick, couldn't fucking stand him, but he taught me exactly how not to be as a leader in the Army. Thank you for that. I learned a lot from what not to do. Officer-wise, in that time frame, Lieutenant
Okay.
White, Jeffrey
Okay.
White, Ohio State graduate, Scott Feathers, Georgia
Mm.
native, ATF graduate, great guy. Let's see, who else? Captain
Okay.
Cullen, DC that I had, First Sergeant. Anyway, let me move on. And then, of course, we got
Okay.
Shetley, Song First Class Shetley. You know, something about that guy. I don't know what it is, but he's just
Right.
hilarious. He told me one day, he goes, Sergeant Major was bitching about you one day. And he said what you said. He goes, I just chuckled because you're the only one that had the balls to say it. So good job. And he even gave me a shout out at his promotion. He's like, I want to thank Sergeant First Class Johnson. And there was a lot of dynamics
Yeah.
there, man. And General
Okay.
Crooks. And the reason why is because I had him as Captain
Okay.
Crooks, 2ID DeBarty,
Okay.
HHP. Hell of a commander. And other than the wayward stepchild he had, he and I talked a lot when I was there in Fort Lewis. He got
Okay.
it, and he I respect him
Okay.
for that. He heard me out. Whatever came of it, don't know, don't care. And then Shetley, Alafuni.
Yeah.
Alafuni's a fool. I like
Yeah.
that guy. He took me in when I got fired from the B-Doc. So imagine that. Second job I got fired
Okay.
from. Successful during that time, but still got fired because of something I
Okay.
said. Uh,
Smoke
I
out.
went to CAF and was part of remobilizing everybody.
Okay.
Me and Captain Murray. That's another one, Captain
Okay.
Murray. I hope you're alive. And Alafuni just took me under his wing, showed me the ropes of everything, and it was a hard but great time. Definitely First Sergeant
My
Yulee.
man.
I will always owe that man a debt of gratitude just from the wisdom that he provided. Smoke Rivera,
I love him, man.
can't say
I
enough
love that
about
guy.
Smoke Rivera. That's another yin yang type deal. He was kind of like a wet blanket on my sour
Yeah.
farts, and I appreciate him greatly for that. And then, of course,
My
Concepcion.
man.
That's my boy. I don't care. Mira.
Yeah. I love that guy.
Mira. He's one of the good ones, man.
Yeah.
All of them are. And it's stuck,
hmm
Sergeant
Okay.
Downey, Lesko, Ramirez, Alpha Battery
Okay.
FPC, good job shooting that
Yeah.
Excalibur. There's a lot of behind the stories on that one, but I'm not going to tell you
Okay.
about that. Yeah. I mean, like I said, there's a lot out there a lot of great NCOs and great soldiers, and I'm sorry if I missed some of you. There's been a bunch of you. I do want to say, I do want to say that I think of Schleck often.
Right. R.I.P. to that kid.
To get off the bus from Afghanistan and to hear of that tragic loss. That was a good
Yeah.
kid. Good goddamn
Good
kid.
kid.
Maybe wasn't Army material. He knew that, but I think the way that he was treated, I think it's a travesty.
That's
But
another conversation, but I definitely,
opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got
yeah,
one.
everybody got a story, and I don't want to tell his story, and I don't know if people's too I don't want to put out misinformation about what happened to that kid, but it's a tragedy what happened to that kid, like I said, and but on a good note, I want to say to you, man, it was an honor serving with you. You were always funny when we bumped into each other. We always a good time. You know, man, you stood on your business, like we say. And I enjoy working with you, boss man. And that leads me to my final question to you: how do you want to be remembered?
Man, I just hope that when people remember something and I'm a part of it, I just hope it brings little whimsy into their day.
Yeah,
I hope they, you know, I just hope they have nothing but positive thoughts, and
yeah,
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 I just hope if they're having a bad day and they think of something when I was having a bad day and it makes them laugh and gets them out, just want to bring some little whimsy to people, you know.
yeah.
Fuck it. What else can I do? I'm retired.
You know what? I got another question for you. How was transition out of the military though for you? Like 22 years, like what was that for you though?
Bro, I think it was hard. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I I was a fish out of
Mm-hmm.
water. I mean, I was set,
Mm-hmm.
but my home life was shit. I it's funny, man, because and I'll just share this real quick. So I submitted my retirement paperwork about the third month in
Okay.
Afghanistan, and the complete packet,
Okay.
and with everything, the ACAP, my uh, you're authorized like 30 or anyways, it's like 6 months,
Okay.
and then I would have been leaving Afghanistan like 2 months later.
Okay.
My packet gets lost at brigade. Lost
Mm.
at brigade.
Lost. Okay.
Okay. Okay, fuck it. I'll play your game. Stuck around.
Okay.
Call up brigade. We've never got it. Okay. All right. We get back to Fort Lewis. I resubmit my packet behind the scenes. And Sergeant Major is like, oh, well, it's on my desk. I have to sign it. I was like, well, you should have signed the fucking original. So quit dicking around and get me the fuck out of here so I can
Mm-hmm.
retire. Well, your OER's not done. Okay. Not a problem. So I called the branch manager. I was like, you know what? I don't want to retire anymore. Where can I go from here? Because you know me and Reitmeyer don't get
Mm-hmm.
along. Where can I go? He goes, oh, the only place I can send you is Fort Sill. I was like, I'll take it.
Mm.
He goes, well, I got to call Reitmeyer. I was like, I'm sure you do.
Mm-hmm.
So give him a call. So I walked in there and I looked at him. I was like, you know what, Sergeant Major? I done decided I don't want to retire anymore. I'm going to go to Fort Sill and go another go. I had orders the next day to retire.
Mm. Mm.
When he looked at me, and I looked at him, he goes, I know trying to play this, oh, he's like, well, I'm sorry, but your orders came through, so you can't come down on any more orders. And I was like, it's a shame. I got to tell you, I want to stay in the Army, so you'll sign my paperwork so I can retire. Have a good
That is
day.
wild, man. That is freaking wild.
And when he asked me why I didn't send him and the commander an invite to my retirement ceremony, I told him right then and there I didn't want him there.
That's honest though.
And my most proud moment is 98% of the NCOs, senior
Mm-hmm.
NCOs, in the battalion came to my retirement ceremony.
That's weird.
And I am greatly appreciated for that because they tried to give me a RCOM as a retirement award.
The disrespect.
I got put in for 2 Bronze Stars in Afghanistan.
Yeah, that's the
All
disrespect.
denied.
That is disrespectful.
The NCOERs done by 2 different lieutenants, befitting and deserving of what I've done. He blackballed every last one of them and threatened them on their careers if they didn't write the one that he wanted me to have. So, toxic? Did I really give a shit? I got the last
That's
laugh.
real. That's real. That's honest, man. That's honest. What in your life still brings you most joy in your life at this time of your life?
You know, that's that's hard to say because you know, not a recent, but ever since Iraq, joy is an emotion I really don't know how to feel. Uh, there's things that I tell myself I should be happy about,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and so the thing that brings me the most joy is definitely my kids, um, because you're just doing so well as a father. You can only hope that your children are successful, and being from the South, that goes a little deeper to where you hope your kids are successful enough to the point to where they're not they don't need a lot from
Mm-hmm.
and that's just Southern upbringing, man. The day I left the house, the old man's like, "All right, you can always come to visit, but it's never a place to live." And that's just it. I try not to be, but you know,
Yeah.
push push comes to shove. Would I love my kids living in the house with me? You bet.
Right.
Would I drive them crazy? You bet.
Yeah.
But I'm very proud that they don't need me. It hurts. It's hard
Right.
because every dad wants to be needed by their kids,
Right.
you know. But I guess I did a good job in the fact that they're successful, and I'll take that as a victory. And I'm very proud of both of them. They have done. They're wonderful humans.
Mm-hmm.
They have great moral compasses, and they are still the innocent and unscathed people.
Yeah. That's a good.
So
That's all right. So I just want to tell you again, man, it was an honor serving with you, boss man, and it was a pleasure. And I would do it again. And if I had to go back, I'm calling you in. You know what I'm saying? Come on back.
you know what? I mean, if I tried to go for a camp out or two,
Yeah.
I'm,
You got one more left in you, my
what else?
man. We got one more left in you. So salute to you, my man. I thank you again.
All
Come
right.
back, crawl out.
That's a wrap on today's episode. Thank you for tuning in to Combat Carl Show. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share with someone who needs to hear this. For more updates and content, you can follow us on all social media platforms at the Combat Carl Show. Until next time, watch your six, keep grinding, and never let the world forget who the hell you are. Combat Carl out.